Welcome back to I Pick Passion and Funny. Today we're bringing you a mix of girl talk, comedy, and career gems with the one and only Jazmyn W. You've probably seen her all over social media, cracking us up with her unfiltered takes, Jaz After Dark moments, and of course, her bad but hilarious advice. She's a comedian, a content creator, a mom, and just an all around vibe. In this episode, we're diving into her journey in comedy, the realities of chasing your passion, and how she balances being very funny, very authentic in her career and personal life. Plus, we're putting her to the test with the Jaz After Dark segment and getting some truly terrible life advice, and Jazmyn gives bad advice. So grab a drink, get cozy, and let's get into it. Hey, Jazmyn, welcome to the pod.
Hey, Erica, thank you for having me.
No problem at all. All right, so I usually like to start off the show with a game called Hella Awkward. It's 4 categories. I'm going to give them to you. You tell me which one you want. I read the question. You give me the answer. All right. So it's dating, sex, real talk, relationships.
Girl, listen, I'm going to say sex.
We at how long should sex last?
Oh my gosh, what a good question. What a good question.
Well, I thought that too. I thought, well, I want a woman's POV on this. Yes.
You know what? Okay, so I am fairly recently out of a long-term relationship, a marriage. So I will say before I started dating almost 2 years ago, I was like, sex should be like 15 or 20 minutes. Sex should be 15 or 20 minutes. Yeah. I think my philosophy has changed a bit over the last couple of years.
Oh, okay.
No shade to nobody, but I think it should be, how long? I don't know. I think it should be like, I think a sweet spot is like 30 minutes. 30 minutes is a good sweet spot.
I'm with that.
Yeah,
and I think it depends on if you got things to do. Like we gotta, you know what I mean? If it depends on all of the variables.
Don't rush me though. Don't rush me.
Oh no. I want to.
Don't come up with things to do.
Yes. I want to take my time. 30 minutes is a sweet spot. 30 minutes is good. I like 30 minutes. Yeah.
Good. I'm agree. Not like when people be like all night long, I'm like, I'm good. I'm trying to go to sleep.
I'm good. I need my rest. Okay.
It actually might be. You might actually need to do something about that if you want to.
Okay. But who is doing that really? Who is really doing that?
Right.
No, that's in the movies and that's a fantasy. Like anybody got time for that for real?
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So, so I kind of want to do like a little bit. We're gonna get to the comedy. We're gonna get to a little everything, girl talk. It's gonna be a little everything. Okay. All right. Okay. So for anyone who's been living under a rock, introduce yourself. How would you describe your comedy and what you do?
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm Jazmyn W. I'm a stand-up comedian and content creator. I like to say I'm very funny and very authentic. I've been doing stand-up for 12 years, but I've been, a content creator since August of 2019 when I quit my corporate job in human resources to do this full-time before the pandemic. I like to say I make content for Black women. Anybody can enjoy, but when I think about who I create for and my own life experiences and, I don't know, it's just, I get so much support and love because I create for like the girl in the mirror. So that's kind of my thing. And yeah, that's kind of my spiel.
I love it. That's perfect. So March is Women's History Month. Speaking of Black women, but it's Women's History Month. So let's start with a little love. What's a lesson or piece of advice from a woman in comedy or entertainment that stuck with you?
Wow. Well, I don't know if this is entertainment. Maybe it is because I used to work at CBS, right? And I had a boss there in human resources. She was my boss. I was her executive assistant, and then I had an entry-level job there. Okay. And her name was Trisha. And I'll never forget, like, the thing that has impacted me the most is she, like, pulled me into her office one day. We were talking, and she was like, Jaz, you're going to be an entrepreneur. And I was like, me? I was like, girl, what are you talking about? She was like, you're going to be an entrepreneur. Like, you have an entrepreneurial spirit. Don't you see that about yourself? And I was like, no. And she was just kind of like, well, I see it in you. Sometimes we can't see things in ourselves we don't perceive ourselves the way other people perceive us. But she was like, you're going to be an entrepreneur. And I just never forgot about that. I didn't believe her at the time. Yeah, she was just this really, honestly, I would describe her as super smart, tough white lady I used to work for. And when I quit my job to do comedy, I was just like, wow, she was right. And when I even started to like become successful at the things I was doing, you know, excited about the things I was doing and making traction, I was like, she was right. I can't believe that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's has always stuck with me.
She spoke that right over your life. I love it.
She did.
Yeah, that's
She
amazing. That's
did.
amazing.
You know?
That's shout out to her.
Right. No, yeah, I could text her. I need to text her. I ain't talked to her in a minute.
Oh yeah, like
So
was right. Was right.
I do, yeah. So
That's crazy. So your content is so real and hilarious. From stand up to social media, what keeps you motivated to keep creating?
wow, yeah. You know what, girl? I've been thinking about this lately. Like, what keeps me motivated? Oh, it's just something in me that just says you just can't quit. You know, it's just something in me to be like, you know, I know that I have a lot of faith in myself and my talent. I think I'm like you're one of the funniest people out here. Like, how can you give up? You know, and it's almost like
Yes.
if I gave up or stopped, I would give up on myself. And I can't do
Mm.
that. So that's what keeps me going. It's really, I talk about this so much. It's so hard to keep going, especially in this industry. It's hard to keep going with anything that you do. But, you know, if you just keep going, you're making that incremental progress. So that's what keeps me
Yes.
motivated.
Okay. That's amazing. That you with it it's you. You're the reason that, and I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. That's enough said. Enough said. So let's be real. Pursuing comedy is not for the weak. Shout out to Dave A. Arnold, who, of course, you know, that was something, you know, it is ain't for the weak. Okay. Anyway, what's been the biggest challenge you faced in your career and how did you push through?
The biggest challenge in my comedy career, I be thinking too hard. I be feeling like I think maybe the biggest challenge in my comedy career is just, you know, I was talking about this earlier today, just kind of like fighting to really trying to decide whether I should do things a different way or if I should follow the path that everybody says you should follow, right? Like, oh, you have to get into the clubs, you have to get in touch with the bookers, you have to do this, you have to get passed at certain comedy clubs in order to play there. Like, people have to think you're funny. And I really just could never, and I still really, it's hard for me to get comfortable with the idea that 9 times out of 10, it's like men who run the clubs or book people, right? It's like a man who 9 times out of 10 also don't even look like me, right? It's like a white guy who's telling you whether you're funny, whether you're good enough a lot of the time. Like, the comedy, do they understand it? You know, will they resonate with it? And sometimes it's just like hard to grapple with like the idea that somebody else has to tell me that I'm worthy in order to get opportunity. So that's been the hardest thing to kind of like grapple with, you know. My manager now actually just said something yesterday that was pretty profound. It was kind of like, nobody ever tells you no because you're like trash. Like, they just don't want to work with you. You know, it's a business and they just tell you no because, you know, they want you to go back and change things to make it fit what they're looking for their business, you know? And I just have a problem with being told no in general, I think. So, you know, it's kind of like, you don't really understand that. If I'm like, you didn't understand that? Right. I'm having a hard time accepting that, you know? So that's just been the roughest thing for me, or the biggest challenge for me.
Yeah, I get that. The rejection. Okay.
Yeah, the
That makes
rejection.
sense. That makes sense.
Know?
Yeah. Yeah. That could be hard for anybody. And I get it, especially when it's your craft. You like, excuse me? Like,
yeah,
no.
I'm like, where is my money? Like, y'all should be giving me money for things.
Yes. Right? Let me tell you. So what's a myth people have about comedy that you wish that you could clear up?
Well, you know what? One of my favorite things is people feeling like comedy, especially like crowd work, right? People feeling like comedy is about like making fun of people or talking down to people. I do make fun of people in the crowd. Most of the time it's men, but when it comes to like people who come to see me, it's like, you know, they'll be like, oh, I'm afraid to sit up front because you might talk to me, you might talk about me. I'm like, okay, I will talk to you and I might talk about you, but it's never going to be anything that's going to make you feel bad about yourself. That's going to walk away and be like, wow, I feel belittled, you know? And sometimes people think that's what comedy is. That's what crowd work is. And that's funny, but that's not, you know? So that's it's not about punching down to people. It's about, using your observation and your intelligence to kind of figure out what's interesting about somebody or a situation. So that's one of my main, I think, misconceptions about comedy.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And I can see that. I feel like I've heard people say that plenty of times. Like, I don't want to sit up front because they're going to say something. They're going to roast me, or, not everybody is going to roast you, or not. That's not always the point. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I like that one. Okay. So you do multiple things: stand-up, social media, mom content. How do you balance everything while staying authentic?
Balance. I guess I do balance, but I feel like people be like, okay, do you have a schedule? Do you have like, I'm not organized. I'm not a disorganized person. And in fact, like, honestly, before I was a mom, I was extremely organized. Like, I'm an organized person. I'm a very clean and sort of organized person. And I have like my steps of how I like to do things. But when it comes to like, my content or even stand up and the things that I post or how I create, it's not really organized, and I think that's probably why it feels so authentic. Because a lot of times it's like, do I have time to just make a 5-minute video about being a mom? Like, that stuff's really quick, but the sketches take longer. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like I was never the type of person to be fake. Like, I can't expel the energy to pretend to be somebody else. So a lot of time, so that's what keeps me authentic,
Yes, too much. It's too much energy. It's just too much energy. I get that. Okay, so what's the funniest or most unexpected way being a mom has influenced your comedy?
Okay, I think being a mom has made me more fearless. It's also, maybe it has made me more like, sometimes I'll be thinking maybe I'm too real. I'm not optimistic enough for people. Before we started today on the podcast, you were like, oh yeah, I don't have kids. I was like, don't do it, girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's made me too, like, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer or anything, but it's kind of like, it's hard. Like, life is so hard. So I think it's just brought reality of how like difficult life can be. Of course, there's so many beautiful moments in life, and I feel like I'm a very happy person. But because I'm so happy, I don't have a problem with being like, girl, this is terrible. That sucks. Because I'll just go back to telling a joke or whatever. But I think sometimes people maybe don't see the fact that like maybe I'm happy or something like that. I'm just a little bit too real. So my experience around motherhood, I'd be like, this is a mess, and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's made me, I feel like sometimes it's made me a little bit too real. I'm like, I need to show people the happier side as well. Like, it's not all annoying.
I see the real though. I think people want to be able to relate to you or relate in under like, okay, I'm not the only one. They want to be seen. So I think that showing those parts, I think that's fine. I mean, the happy is obviously having a kid. I believe it's joyful, right? But I believe it's also like you know, and I think it's probably those moments more at some points than it is the joyful. I think
about 50-50.
You know what I mean? Yes. Depending on the day. I mean, so I think you're doing a good job. So keep doing what you're doing, girl.
Thank you.
So if you weren't doing comedy, what's another passion you think you'd be pursuing?
Okay, I could probably see myself doing 2 things if I wasn't doing comedy. When I was in college, I almost became a yoga and Pilates instructor because my college was offering certification. And I just didn't have time to do it at that time. But I think I would like doing that because I used to be a huge yogi. I used to do yoga like 4 or 5 times a week. And now, I used to do yoga like all the time before I had a kid. And, it was just me. And I was in a relationship too, but I just had all this free time. I was like, I'm going to do yoga every day. I was like, if this was a cult, I would be in it because that's how much I love doing it. I was like, girl, they better not turn, like somebody fine better not come try to leave me somewhere because I'm going to be gone, girl. But,
I love it. I love it.
So probably that,
That okay, I can see that. You look like you could be a yoga instructor. You give yoga instructor, maybe.
I think I
I
could give yoga instructor. My classes would be a little bit more fun,
Yeah, a little comedy in there, a little comedy sprinkled in there.
Exactly, exactly.
I like it. All right, so we're gonna do a little girl. So this is the girl talk part of it. We're gonna do a little life, love, and laugh. So if you could give your younger self one piece of advice about navigating career, friendships, or relationships, what would that be?
Oh my goodness. I just recorded a YouTube video about this. Like, what would I tell myself in my 20s?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last thing that I mentioned was when you're younger, do you have things that you really want to do, but you're afraid to pursue them because you're afraid, like, oh, what are my parents gonna think? Or what if it's a dumb idea? Or what if I fail? Or what
That
if
was
all these
mine. That was mine.
really?
What if I failed? That was mine. That was definitely mine.
People do not tell you, like, I try to tell my nephews this too. I'm like, if you fail, you have time. Like, if you fail, so what? You're in your 20s, like you still have time to start over or do whatever or figure it out. There's no such thing as failure anyway. It's just learn lessons. And what if you don't fail? Then you end up doing something that you love.
Exactly.
So I went to school for broadcast communications, and I started my first YouTube channel when I in like probably 2012. And I was thinking, if I had just stuck with that, I just didn't believe in myself enough. But if I had just stuck with that, I probably would have, had an online presence already. I probably would have had a different path, but still it would have got me to sort of the same trajectory if I had just believed in myself more.
Love that. Yeah. Belief in yourself. 100%. Because fear of failure. I think that cripples a lot of people, the fear of failure. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people hold themselves back. They have the potential and they can do it. They just afraid that maybe it won't work out. But also, what if it does work out? And then if it doesn't work out, pick it up, try again. Or that don't work now. So try something.
Exactly.
Taking the chance, I think, is such a bravery. And I think that that's a lesson that everybody can learn. So I like it.
What did you want to do that you were afraid to do, or you were afraid to fail at when you were young, when you were in your 20s?
Ooh, so many things, girl. This goes all the way back to my adolescence, childhood. Like, I was afraid. To this day, I don't know how to swim. That's an example. Like something as simple as swimming. Like the things that kids did young, I was afraid to do those things because I was like, well, what if I kind of was standoffish about it. Like, I don't want to do it because what if I don't do it right? What if people are looking at me? What if this? What if all these things? That was my fear young. And I know how to ride a bike. I did learn that. I was pushed to kind of learn that. And I love riding my bicycle. But other than that, swimming and skating, I don't know how to skate. Like, girl, I'll put on a pair of skates. I'm holding on to the rail the whole time because I'm like, I want to let go. You know what I mean? Like, all those things, I'm talking about that young. And then as I got, it was the fear of kind of taking chances, moving out of state. You know what I mean? To this day, now that I'm 36, I'm in my late 30s now. I'll be 37 this year. And I'm like, I've been living these last couple of years. I've been getting to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Unapologetically, I'm going to take a chance. I started doing improv last year, girl. I love it. I'm doing improv again now. I'm at the next level. I'm about to do I'm like, I have my second showcase next week. I'm just living now, and I'm living for me. You know what I'm saying? So if I want to move, I'm going to move. I'm not afraid that if it doesn't work, I'm going to take a chance. I'm taking swimming lessons this year. Girl, so I'm now getting to this look. I'm in the later half of my 30s, and now I'm like, oh yeah, now I want to do all the things that I was afraid to do. You know what I mean?
Girl,
Start a podcast,
I'll be 30.
all the things. So yeah.
I'll be 36 in a couple weeks. Same spot, exact same place in life.
Yep.
Exact same place in life. This is my second time going on a solo trip for my birthday. I've never been on a solo vacation.
Ooh.
And I started last year, and it's my second year going, and it's just doing whatever I want to do. I can't be fearful anymore.
No,
I can't swim. No, you ahead of me on that because I'm afraid to swim. And when I take a swimming class, that's how you know I'm at a different. You better not mess with me because I'm the baddest. I'm the baddest bitch. Like, you better not mess with me when I take a swimming class, honey. Because when I get ready to learn how to swim, you ahead of me on that. I can't wait to see how that goes for you. Like,
yes, I can't wait too. Believe me, I am. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes. Because, girl, but it's gonna be a journey. It's gonna be a journey, but you'll get there too. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get you there. You will get there. I believe in you. I believe in you. Okay. Okay. So, what's the best bad decision that you've ever made, and something that seemed reckless at the time, but it turned out great?
The best bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I would probably say I moved from Texas to San Francisco a couple of weeks after I graduated college with my now baby daddy ex-husband, soon to be ex-husband. And I'll never forget, before I moved, my dad was like, "Why would you move for a man? Like, why would you move to be with a man? Like, that's like, don't revolve your life around what somebody else is doing." And I told my dad, I was like, "Dad, like, anything I do in my life is for me." I said I would never move if I didn't feel like it was going to benefit me as an individual. So I was like, yeah, we're together and, things are working out right now. But I was like, if for some reason we weren't together, I would still be happy that I moved.
Yeah.
So don't think that I'm moving for somebody else. I'm like, this is just the avenue for me to get to a new space and do something different.
Yes.
And I guess I would just say, like, according to my dad, that was a bad decision. My dad, he don't even make good decisions himself, child. Anyway, according to
tell me about,
but according to him, that was probably that he was really nervous for me. But I'm like, if I hadn't made that decision, I wouldn't be exactly where I am right now. So I'm really happy I made that decision.
Amen, girl. Amen. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm here for all of it. Because but parents, they be trying their best. Lord knows, they be giving us advice, and we be like, how about did you take your own advice?
Girl, right? Like, what did you tell yourself when you moved in with my mama? How about that?
Right. Okay, like, wait a minute, okay, whatever. All right, so that's hilarious. What's the most ridiculous situation you've ever found yourself in because of your career?
Ridiculous situation because of my career?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one time I did a show in Bakersfield, California, which is like maybe like an hour and a half up north from Los Angeles, right? And so, you get asked to do shows, you do them because, you need the stage time or whatever the case is. I did this show in Bakersfield, California in like a warehouse. And Bakersfield is kind of like low-key the desert or something like that. Girl, I don't know. I ain't been back. But it was at night. It took me an hour and something to get there. I don't think I got paid for this show, but who cares if you get paid when you're a comedian? I don't remember getting paid for the show. It was like 90 something degrees and it was in a warehouse with no air conditioning. I was dripping sweat and I'm trying to figure out, like, am I not funny or is it just too hot in here to laugh? Like, it was, nobody was laughing. Like, nobody thought nothing was funny. Everybody had their fans out and, everybody was pissed off. It was just, it was honestly a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Hilarious. I'm sweating, girl.
Then nobody want to laugh because they ain't want no hot air. It's super,
right. You had to keep your mouth closed. I'm like, this is not even fun. Like, why am I even pursuing this? Like, it's just, girl, so many situations like that.
Hilarious. Okay. That's so bad. So if comedy was a relationship, what stage would you say you're in? Would you be in the honeymoon phase? It's complicated, or till death do us part?
I would say till death do us part. This is my passion. This is the love of my life.
Love it. I love it.
Love of my life. I will take comedy over a man any day, to be honest with you. I love it. Like, when I spend time with comedy, I feel good about myself. I feel good about, like, the world and, like, people and everything. So I would definitely say that.
I love that for you. You're like, what? I love that. That's amazing. So what's quality in yourself that you think has been the key to your success?
Oh man, like resilience and the ability to, there's actually quite a few. Oh, okay. I would say resilience and optimism.
Okay.
Because like I really be giving myself credit these days because I'm like, I was pregnant. I moved actually out of my baby daddy's our house when I was 5 months pregnant. I had preeclampsia. I had my baby 2 months early. All while I was doing a podcast while my baby was in the hospital. I was still creating content while my baby was in the hospital. I was online making jokes. When my baby got out of the hospital, I never had a postpartum break. I filed for divorce. I did all these things, and I've still been making content for the past 3 years, like nonstop. So I kind of feel like, damn, I'm kind of hard, honestly. Like I am very resilient and I'm very optimistic. So just when I look back at that journey, I'm like, yeah, like I'm really that girl when it comes to being resilient.
That's powerful. I love that. I love that. Yes. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna do Jazz After Dark. A little spicy, a little unfiltered. We're gonna throw that in there. We're gonna do a little Jazmyn Gets Bad Advice too. We're gonna get there.
I love it.
Yeah. So, all right. So what is the funniest or wildest DM that you've ever received, career or personal?
Oh, girl, I wish my DMs was popping, to be honest with you. Like I would have a ball if my DMs was popping. But they don't be popping. Like, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all the real. So, if somebody pop into my DMs and I look at their profile and they not bad looking or something like that, I might don't get surprised when I flirt back. But I told a man a couple weeks ago, I was like, you don't be talking about nothing. He was like, what you mean? He's Brazilian. He's a Brazilian doctor. I was like, you don't be talking about nothing. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, you don't be talking about nothing. Nothing. You like, it's not interesting. He was like, damn. He just wasn't, But I remember maybe like last year I would I got a DM from somebody and I was like, okay, that was cute. I was messaging back and forth. I had met this person before. But we was messaging back and forth. I was like, well, baby, honey, if you gonna flirt, send me something I can work with. Send me something, send me a photo. I asked for nudes. Go ahead, send me a nude. You ain't gonna get nothing, but go ahead, send me a nude. And he sent one. And I was like, I know that's right. I ain't seen him since. I ain't seen him in person. He just sent me the nude. I said, thank you. I appreciate that. And that was it, honey.
So was it even like, was the nude like, was it good? Was it a good
It was
one?
a good nude. It was a good nude. It was a good nude. I said, wow, I'm impressed. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Moving right along.
Right. Yes, girl.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So would you rather have a successful career but be terrible at relationships, or have a perfect love life but struggle in your career?
Well, girl, I'd rather have a successful career. I got bills to pay. I got things to do, girl. I would rather have and maybe I don't, it's not like lost on me that I've been married, I've been in love before and things like that. So a lot of times people be like, oh well, how's dating? And I'm like, I'm just having fun, and maybe it's because I've experienced those things. I would much rather have a career at this point because I want to continuously like love my life. I couldn't see myself like loving somebody but struggling at what I do. Like, no, this is a part of what makes me happy.
Fulfillment. Gotta have the fulfillment.
Yeah.
I like it.
For sure.
So what's an unfiltered piece of advice that you give to women about dating, relationships, or just love, just life in general? Just life in general. Dating, relationships, or just life in general. Unfiltered piece of advice that you give them. Get the ladies.
Ooh, you know what? I would probably say is 9 times out of 10, a man is around you because he gets something from you and he getting something from you. And a lot of times when I say that, people think sex, intimacy, not just that. It's just like your light, your intelligence, your business acumen, your positivity, your healthy emotional state. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes women, we don't give ourselves enough credit. Like a lot of times, not all of y'all, but most of us being around you is a light. It's a blessing to be around you. So if we just realize a little bit more, like, I think I recently said, like, you don't need a man needs you.
I was just hearing to say that. I was going to say they need us. Yeah, absolutely.
They need us. Like our intelligence, our leadership skills. We're always helping. We're always helping each other. We're always helping the world. We're We're really helpful. We're so selfless. A lot of times, they want to be around you from what because of what you offer them. And if you just remember that, you kind of keep all of the power that you have.
Powerful. Say it again, girl. Say it again.
Yes,
right?
girl.
I like it. All right,
Mhm.
so Jazmyn gives bad advice. Okay. So all right, so this scenario is I just started my passion project, but no one is supporting me. How do I force them to care?
Well, no, baby, you can't force other people to do stuff. You can't force other people to do stuff. That's kind of like, my baby come up to me, my baby will come up to me and say, play with me. And I said, okay, I'm gonna play. And then I pick up the little toy and they be like, no, 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 don't, you can't tell me what to do with the toy. This is my imagination. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you can't really force people to participate in your dream. If it's your dream, keep going. And to be honest with you, like from a comedian standpoint, I have shows all the time. Like my friends, they don't come to my shows. My family members, they do when I'm in town, but it's kind of like the people in your circle, they're not going to be like your main supporters. That's not what makes you successful, because everybody in your community, in your family is supporting you. It's like once you continue to keep going and you reach other people outside of your community and they share with their communities, to me, that's what kind of makes you more successful. But like, I'm not successful because my best friends, my 4 or 5 friends I got, come to my show every time I have one. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
You just have to keep going. Forget about the people who are not supporting you, right? Like right here around you. It's like of course you want people to support you, like to encourage you and like your posts or whatever it is that you're doing. You shouldn't get discouraged because they don't have the bandwidth or the capacity to keep up with everything you're doing and support everything. Like you should just keep going and know that you'll reach your people, your audience for whatever it is that you're doing.
Yep. Who is for you will be for you.
Yes, yes.
Love it. That is so true. Okay. So my coworker is low key stealing my ideas and taking credit. How do I make sure they regret it?
People who steal don't regret stuff. So I don't know. People who steal, they love thieving. I think you just have to find a way to get your ideas on paper so that you could prove that they were yours. So I would say maybe the next time you have an idea, instead of telling them, make sure that you don't tell them, honey, but maybe you like send a note to your boss and say, hey, this is the idea that I have, and I just want to throw it out there before we talk about it later in like the bigger meeting or whatever, so that you can sort of document your ideas, so they don't get taken from you.
Yes, of course. Yes. Love it. Love the advice. Okay. So I'm stuck between following my dream or taking the safe route. What's the worst way to make my decision?
What's the worst way to make your decision? I honestly would say, take the safe route and follow your dream on the side and do both. Like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Like I've been doing comedy for 12 years, but I quit my job in 2019 when I had the ability to do so, because I was in like, I was married and stable, so, but up until then I was going to mics every night. You pursue and see if it's something you really want to do. Cause I wouldn't tell you to quit your job, your stable job, and then go all in and you be like, actually, I hate this,
Right.
Yeah. So I would say do both.
Okay. Love it. So I want to quit my job, but my mom says I need security. How do I convince her that vibes alone will pay my rent?
Bob's don't pay nobody rent, child. What? You gotta move in with your mama. Yeah, you gotta move in with her, because Bob's is not gonna pay no rent.
No. Okay.
No. Even sugar
I
daddies don't even
wish.
pay. Yeah, like people think, oh, I'm gonna just find a way to get my rent paid. What you plan on? What you plan on doing? Stripping or something? Like, how you gonna get your rent paid out of nowhere? I don't
Standing
get
on the
that.
street
No.
corner, standing on the street corner with you. I don't know, because
Girl, well, you can do it from home. OnlyFans, you can do from home now. Vibes is not gonna pay no rent.
Vibes ain't. I wish they did. Look, let me tell you. Okay.
Right. I got all the vibes, honey. If Vibes paid
Imagine what
rent.
I would. Imagine what I would have if that was it. That is so funny. Jazz, we getting through this, girl. We gonna be okay. So, what's next for you? Well, actually, we're done with the bad advice. We're done with the bad advice. That was all I had for that part.
Okay.
Okay. So we gonna go ahead. We closing it out now. That's us got through this. I didn't know we were gonna get through it like this. All right. So what's next for you? Any shows, projects, or exciting things coming up that you want to share?
You know what? Last year, over the course of the whole year, at the beginning of the year, I had a team of 3 people. At the end of the year, I had a team of 0 people.
Oh, wow.
So, girl. So, I actually got a new manager that I'm working with as of like yesterday.
Exciting.
Exciting. I'm really excited to be working with him. I love it when a Black man do stuff for me. So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, I'm excited about it. So just continuing. Honestly, this year for me was about letting people know that I'm a stand-up comedian. Because sometimes I still hear people say, "I didn't know you did stand-up," and I'm like, "What?" So letting people know I do stand-up, and also letting people know that yes, I'm really funny on stage. I'm really funny when it comes to stand-up, but also I can create other things that are funny as well, and that I can make anything funny. So
Yes.
that is my goal for this year, and just
Mm.
sort of laying the foundation for that. Like this is yeah, I can make anything funny is my goal for this year.
Okay. Nice.
Mhm.
So you have any
Mhm.
shows or anything in particular that you can share or want to share? Shows coming up,
Yeah.
projects or whatever?
When is this gonna come out?
Either this Tuesday or the following Tuesday.
Okay. Well, I would just say if you want to keep updated on my shows, you can join my Patreon even for free. If you join as a free member, I give away free tickets all the time. I do giveaways and stuff like that. It's just a way to stay in connection with me. Um, and you could pay too for Jaz After Dark, which is a weekly show I do about intimacy. Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
about sex and our bodies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expanding my YouTube content as well. So right now I talk about some reality shows, but I'm going to start talking about confidence and giving advice and just doing all the things on there. And then I will have some comedy tour dates coming up later this year, but just follow me so you can stay up to date.
Okay. And that's so where can they find your Instagram? Share all that.
Yes. So on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram and TikTok, it's JazmynJW. On
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, it's comedian Jazmyn W on YouTube. And then my Patreon is called The Secret Society. So it's patreon.com/Jazmyn W. So that's where you can find me.
Yes. Secret Society. I love that. Uh, so speaking of like so what is a freebie, like a sex tip right now that you can give the
Mm-hmm.
ladies? Since this is going to be March, it's Women History Month. Like, what is a freebie sex tip that you can give the ladies right now?
Ooh, okay. So one of our recent episodes that was kind of trending on TikTok about how to talk your partner through it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that trend?
No, I have not actually.
Okay.
This is new to
Look it
me.
up.
Okay.
Look it up. Everybody's been talking about how to talk your partner through intimacy,
Hmm.
using a lot of verbal communication. I'm a verbal I talk too much anyway, child, but I'm verbal during intimacy. So I do give a lot of my tips. But one of my tips during that episode was we underestimate how how stimulating I guess it could be to kind of whisper in your partner's ear because they kind of get the breath on their ear. Sometimes when
Mm-hmm.
you move your voice, there's like that vibrations.
Oh
And
yeah.
then if you're afraid of like looking awkward during intimacy when you're talking to your partner, you can, say things in their ear and they won't see you. Like you're not like looking them, making eye contact with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I think no matter what you say, if you get really close and say it in their ear during sex, then it's sexy.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think I might agree. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's one of my tips. Yeah.
Well, I hope the ladies will share and let us know in the comments if they, if this works for them, if they, if you tried it and how you liked it, did he like it, all the things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, final words of real advice for women who want to chase their passion but feel scared to take the leap.
Oh, one of my favorite quotes, I think about it almost every day, is stagnation is scarier than change.
Okay.
So I would rather change
Uh-huh.
because it's much scarier to wake up next year and be in the same place that I was in because of my fears.
I totally
So
agree. I always kind of
yeah.
say that. That kind of goes to what I always say. I said, my biggest fear at this point is not pursuing the purpose that I believe I'm here on this earth to, you know what I mean, to fulfill. Like that's probably my biggest fear. And I think that, getting stagnant, it's so easy to get stagnant, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's so much harder to challenge yourself and be like, no, I'm gonna get outside of my box and out of my comfort zone and I'm gonna do something different, similar to what we were talking about earlier. So, oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I also think people think like when I say that, the people think, oh, I gotta hustle, I gotta grind,
Yeah.
no, just like the small incremental changes add up. And you think, wow, over the course of a year, I made progress instead of not doing anything because you were scared, you know?
So, you gotta try.
Yeah.
You gotta try.
Gotta
Something.
try.
You gotta try.
You gotta try.
I love that. Well, Jazmyn, it's a bit of pleasure. That's all I had for you, girl. We got through this. I don't know how. I really thought I was looking at these questions and I said we're gonna hit at least an hour. That's why I was like, you got time? But we got through that. I don't know. That's
was
amazing.
it too short?
No, it's fine.
Was
no,
it
no,
okay?
no.
Or was, okay.
No,
okay,
we're good. We're good. No, it was perfect.